All right, Mopar people, welcome back to the channel. I'm Justmoparjoe. My plea for y'all to go harass Dave at Rust Bucket Restos actually worked. So we've got a crankshaft, we've got rods, finally. We don't have any bearings or rings, so I got those ordered from 440 Source with a bunch of other stuff coming in. I want to get the crank and rods out and check them over today. They don't do us any good if they're actually destroyed in transit. And this is kind of a different situation than a normal build of mine. So here are our items. The Platinum Series crankshaft. The balance sheet that comes with this, let's go ahead and get it opened up and see. The box is pretty oil stained. I know it's very dated, and the rods are in that box with some other stuff. All right, so as we open the box up on that side from a guy in Orangevale, California. So this is kind of a second-hand stroker kit, but it's supposed to never been used. I kind of look at boxes and stuff like that so we can see where the, was this crank, it's went from Nevada to California, from California to Utah, and from Utah to Arkansas now. And a lot of shipping companies don't care anything about your items. They just, they're keeping their job and they're showing up every day. So I got to dig this thing out. I'm looking at stuff like the depth of how these throws have dug into that box. Like, was it dropped from 4 feet up? What's the deal with it? So let's keep digging in here. Crankshaft is out and 75% cleaned up. Here's what it's all about. 440 Source, internal balance, 4340. The balance sheet said 2009. So that's probably better than 2019. But I really want to look this thing over. I'm going to measure all these journals next time, mic them all. I haven't seen any actual nicks. If you see something in this video, it's probably just dust, but they have the oil holes chamfered. I haven't tried to run anything through there yet. And since this probably won't be, this will probably not get polished unless I see something crazy and it needs it. I'm not gonna run a metal brush through there because it might actually bring a burr up or something. So we'll probably go with some nylon brushes for that. And I want to blow everything out again, wash it all again, get the rest of the kind of rust preventative off. But so far so good. I got to get a Woodruff key, and I'll get it rolled over. That hole looks a little bit wonky there, like maybe I can mess with it and get my light. There we go. Blanks there and then has to cut over at the angle. So you see our oil hole there where the daylight is. There's just a little spot that's right inside there. You can kind of see it in the light. This light may be too bright for that, but it has to break over like a 90-degree piece there. So if I can find my little some of my killer carbide bits, I may go in and just touch that lightly inside there. I'm not gonna hog it out or waller it out or anything like that, but see, that one's got a step in it also. Step up, right. There we go. It's not as drastic, but it is a little bit. And I'm sure it'd probably be fine. But I may touch those up next time. I would say that my 512 crank in my Barracuda over there from 440 Source is probably a little bit nicer than this one. But it was a different vintage, so there's that. That one also has a little bit of slag hanging in. Won't hurt anything to knock that out with a really fine burr bit. That one looks pretty good. It's got just a slight curve to it. Not so bad. But yeah, I want to look through all those and be sure they're nice and open. Because we got to have oil. There's no telling what Dave's going to do with this thing. And he has mentioned nitrous already, so he's loving his nitrous nowadays. So we want to be set up for that as well. That'll be part of the 500 stroker build. Let's keep going. Got us a little damper to install. It gives you all those directions on that. I want to say I used one on that 508 stroker and had pretty good luck with it. I don't know. I'm assuming this is about the same vintage as the other parts. But it looks pretty good. And on the back side, they give you a little tiny SFI 18.1 sticker. So that's cool. So as far as I can tell, this is fine. Here are our rods, the 500 rod, 6/760. So these are a little bit longer than the rods that's in my 512. And it makes the piston skirt a little bit shorter also. I'm gonna show you that in a minute. I've already opened this and looked, just glancing in. This ARP lube may be dried up by now, but I really wish these had been packed with something better besides this old. It was wrapped in the rust preventative paper and then stuck in bags and shipped just like that. So what that does is this edge of this rod beats against the side of this one from it when it went from Nevada to California, California to Utah, and Utah to Arkansas. Did I say that already? They've been everywhere. It's a good looking little rod though. I'm going to probably go ahead and open them all so I can see what kind of nicks and stuff we got. Bring it back. All right, starting with our rods. I got them out, threw all that old paper and plastic away. These will not ever make another trip anywhere, hopefully. And I'm looking for road rash. So a little bit around here, there, just go by. Some are worse than others. That's a good little spot there. See it? And that would be on our, the inside. So this road rashy spot would be rubbing against the flat of another rod like that at some point. It may not, the oil may totally separate them, keep them separated forever, but that's got to be dressed for sure. This one's probably the better one. Going down the line. It's good to show these things, and that way everybody's on the same page of what we got to work with here. This one had a kind of a deep nick somewhere. Where did he go? Right there. There you see it. So that nick kind of hangs over into where the bearing could ride, and that might just barely make the bearing hang up a little bit, cause the spin when Dave dumps the clutch on this thing at 6,000 RPM or whatever. A little more road rash here. On there. And here's our last one. A little bit, not terrible. So I want to do something fun with these other sides. You can see it's got some there from, they are bushed for full float, so that's nice. I want to just do something fun with it. Here's our piston. PR 5365. Here's the actual part number is this. I think that's a 327 KB. And 033 is 33 thousandths overbore. So I think it actually makes like a 499 point something. We're going to call it a 500 because we like to round up. I'm just going to take some WD-40 and spray the ends of these rods while I have a camera here. No trickery. But any road rash that might have, like that one, let's see how our pen works. I'll even spray the bottom half of it, so it's plenty lubed. I know a lot of people like, oh man, that's tight, 1,000th, 1,000th and a half. Depends who you ask. See, that one's smooth butter there. He's ready to go. Okay, it'll come out of there now. I would guess with all those burrs there, that one probably won't even drop. There we go. That one's doing better. It drags, it has a little bit of drag to it, excuse me. I'll zoom out some. There's a, feels a little better. I know we sprayed all these, did we not? This is just a simple preliminary test. They're going to take a little bit of work, a little bit of finesse. Yep, so there we go. Okay, so about 4 out of 8, the pins are fairly loose in. And if you wanted to do a backyard kind of deal, you could probably take some real fine sandpaper and just lightly, very lightly go around, test fit your pin over and over again. I haven't mic'd all these pins yet. I haven't weighed any of these pins yet. I haven't weighed any of this stuff yet, but that will be coming in a separate video. I know when we weighed the rods for my 512, they were all within 1/10 of a gram of each other, total weight. And that was really, really good. The pistons were about the same. So I know this is an older piston. It does have the oil rail there for it, for that bottom ring, or the ring pack, whatever you want to call it. But this should make a very high revving, nice little engine. I want to say it's a 4.125 stroke. Takes the longer rod, shorter skirt. Longer rod, shorter skirt, and the 512 I have over here takes a taller skirt, a little shorter rod, and longer stroke. So this is 4 1/4 stroke. This is the 4.125 stroke. So little differences. They're both 400 blocks to start with, but I believe they said this piston itself is actually half the weight of a stock piston. So that's pretty light. I'm glad that Dave finally sent those parts over to me. They could be in a little better shape. I'm gonna have to dress on them a little bit, but that's just what you do if you got a good used stroker kit. It's not really used. It all looks brand new, but if it wasn't checked, 16 years ago, 16 years ago, whatever it wasn't checked then, and it was just stuck in the corner. Some of these tolerances may be off, so I've got to check everything. Hopefully I'll come back for that. I appreciate y'all watching, and Dave sent me some stickers. I'll catch y'all next time. Here's a little bonus. I got some valve covers in too. It looks like Mopar Performance. I'm not sure where he ordered these from, but they're probably proud of them. There's a sweet little grommet. Nifty. A couple breathers in there. Let's get one out and look at it. There she is in all her glory. The old big block Mopar fin. Seems like they wrapped those up plenty nice. We should have did our rods like that, Dave. Come on, man. All right, Mopar people.